Boxing King Media, delighted to be joined on this Sunday morning by Mr. Duke McKenzie after another epic night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. How are you, first of all, Duke?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Just got back from a run. Feeling great, feeling strong, feeling fit and healthy. So I'm good. Sunday afternoon, just gonna have my Sunday dinner once we've done this.
Great stuff. What you having for Sunday dinner by?
Oh, my wife's done a nice Sunday roast, a lamb roast.
All right, lamb
Yeah,
on
it's
the
lamb today, mate. We had chicken last Sunday. She alternates, chicken one, lamb, bit of beef. Do you know what I mean? But I'm looking forward to it. I'm starving.
big up, Mrs. McKenzie.
Thank you.
Last time we talked about, I mentioned your gym and where it is. I think the guy that you said signed up, he commented on the video. So shout out to him as well.
Oh, really? Oh, nice. Nice enough, guy. He's
Yeah.
just done his back. He's done something to his back, so he's cried off for a little while.
Is it? Okay. Well, if anybody wants to go train with Mr. Mackenzie's gym's down there in South, I'll let you mention the address again.
Yeah, South London, Croydon it is. 287 Brighton Road, South Croydon. Everything's online. Just look me up online, champ, and anybody can get involved. It's a good crack. We're doing really well at the minute. We've had a really good year, been really productive, got lots of members coming in, so happy days.
Great. If you're from Croydon and want to get in shape for the new year, Mr. Mackenzie's the place to go and train. I want to jump in straight away. We'll start off with the main event before we talk about, the undercard fight that you saw. Um, who did you think was going to win this, Duke? Because I can't remember seeing a prediction anywhere. Remind me.
No,
Who did
I went for Eubank before the fight, obviously. I think he was the betting favourite and probably the people's sort of favourite. I think that's the sort of general consensus, but I was wrong, like everybody else. Um, you know, I actually feel sorry for Chris Eubank Jr. Not financially, the guy's got more money than I've ever seen in my life, and he's ridiculously rich and got. I think he got another 10 million for that last night. However, if we're talking about the actual fight itself, the fight was so poor. It was. I don't know if Eubank was so bad or Conor Benn was that good, but I would lean towards the first. That Eubank was, as everybody knows, was totally weight drained. Now I've been in the exact same position. I'm not making excuses, but I've been in the exact same position when you train so hard and you get the weight off and you make weight. But once you've made the weight, there's nothing left in the tank because it's taken you months to drain your body and drag your body down to that weight division. Eating the night before has no effect whatsoever. You're not going to put on, you might put on half a stone, you might put on 10 pound or even a stone overnight, but it takes time for that weight to settle and to digest and for you to feel strong. In a couple of days from now, Eubank will be feeling so strong because he can eat and drink what he wanted. But from the minute he got in that ring, he looked decimated. And like I say, he boxed terribly. I don't think I've seen a novice box worse than that in my life. He was that bad. And like I say, I don't want to take nothing away from Conor Benn because he trained for the fight, he got ready for the fight, said he was going to win, and he's gone out and he's won. But for my money, he hasn't beaten a world class opponent at the top of their game. I still don't believe he's a world class operator. I'm not trying to diminish him or make him sound like he's rubbish because he's not. For me, he's domestic level. That's just how I see him. That's how I view him as a boxer. However, he beat Eubank yesterday. He's got a name in beating Eubank, but again, Eubank hasn't won anything. He's never been a British European world champion. So, what's he beaten? He's beaten a weight drained middleweight. Eubank should feel quite bad about this, and I'm sure he does, because he's been beaten by a welterweight. He's been beaten by a career best welterweight who's bulked up, gone up two weight divisions, and beat the living daylights out of him. So, like I say, Conor Benn wasn't great, but Eubank was just so bad, so bad.
just based on them observations, we saw when Chris beat Liam Smith in the rematch, people raved about his jab, his performance. So, because the other opinion is Connor took all that away from him with the tactics he fought with, which was feinting with the jab, attacking the body early, slowing him down. Could it have been a case of that?
I don't know if you've ever had to diet before or make weight. I don't just mean for a week or a month. I'm talking about maybe 3, 4, 5 months in the run up. I'm sure immediately after their first fight, Eubank said to yourself, right, I'll have a couple of days, I'll have a little blowout, and then I'll make sure that my weight's under control and one thing or another. When you have to make weight over a period of time, that's the sort of thing it can do to you. It can affect your performance. I don't know if you've ever seen Chris Eubank Jr. box worse than what he did last night. He was shocking. He was absolutely shocking. I bet I could have beaten that version of Eubank last night. He was that bad. Now, normally if you're 3 or 4 rounds down in a fight, it's such an important fight because it's for bragging, right? No title on the line, just Benn v Eubank. You would say to yourself, well, I'm going to put my mark down now. At no point in that fight, Eubank couldn't pull the trigger. He didn't have the energy to pull the trigger. Mentally, you say to yourself, I'm going to go, I'm going to go. But because your reaction and your timing is so slow, by the time he thought about it, the fight was over. Do you see what I mean? By the time he could actually do anything about it, the fight was over. He was, like I say, I don't want to rubbish him. He's not a rubbish fighter, Eubank. He's really not. But what he produced last night was just absolute. It was terrible.
Obviously, that does take limelight away from Conor's performance because that's another way of looking at this. Um, how did you rate his boxing skills and the game plan that he applied last night, which was quite clear? It was a tactical fight. He wasn't winging shots in like, he wasn't overly aggressive. He was a bit more calculated than the first fight. What did that show us about Conor Benn and the improvements he's made?
Obviously, he's gone away and said, I'm not going to be so emotional this time. Fight with my heart and not my head. This time he boxed with his head. He was clearly thinking about tactics, game plans. You can fold him superlatives in what he was and what he wasn't going to do. But would you put him anywhere near? Is it Hamza Shiraz, the super middleweight boy?
No, because he's super middle, and he saw that
Yeah,
this.
that's what I'm saying. Would
Yeah,
you put him anywhere near him at middleweight?
a
Would you put
different
him
weight.
anywhere near Canelo? Would you put him anywhere near Charlo? Would you put him anywhere near Virgil Ortiz?
They're talking about sending him back down to welterweight. So obviously the names he mentioned was Mario Barrios,
Yeah,
Rolando Romero, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. These are the names he's after.
yeah. Well, let me tell you this: Conor Benn won't. He can't make welterweight and have that kind of a performance. Fight so well. He won't be able to. He won't be able to fight so well against the big, strong welterweight. Conor Benn's not a welterweight. I'd be shocked if he could make 147. I've never known in the history of the sport of boxing. Bearing in mind, I've done this from the age of 13. I'm 62 now. I've never known in my lifetime, anybody that's gone up in weight, then dropped back down in weight and had a successful career. I've never known it. Fighters don't jump up and down in weight. Once you start going up, you stay up. Conor Benn's body will adjust to the middleweight limit really quickly. It fill out really quickly. For him to suggest I'm going to come back down to welterweight, he's not. He's just. It's not going to. He might make welterweight, but if he does, you get the same performance that Eubank produced last night. Conor Benn will box like that because he'd have to drag his body down to make that weight division. He'd be weak at welterweight, 10 stone 7.
Okay, so if Chris was weight drained, so does that mean if he comes back and fights at super middleweight, we may see him?
He'll get destroyed. He'll get absolutely not. He'll get absolutely annihilated. If I was him now, I'd look at my bank balance. I'd say, right, I've had 2 of the best paydays that any fighter on the planet's ever had. I think he's earned in excess of like 19, 20 million or whatever it is, right? For 2 fights against the guy who's just, boy, he's ordinary. And I can't put it any more plainly than that, right? I'm talking about Conor Benn. In my eyes, he's an ordinary fighter, right? Right. So he's earned a bucket load of money. Why the hell on God's earth would you still want to fight? Save your money, keep your money. You can do anything you want with your life now. Set up academies up and down the world, all over the world, right? He could do so much more. He's a media personality. He can still earn a bucket load of money away from boxing. At least he's been a boxer. At least he knows what it is to taste, and fight some good fighters in his career, like a James DeGale or an Arthur Abraham. At least he can say he's boxed world-class fighters. Eubank I'm talking about. So if I was him, I honestly think if I had £20 million in the bank, I'd call it off. I'd walk away. He's 36 years of age.
Oh,
He's going to be a dad, right? All of these things take this away from what it is you're trying to achieve.
what about Conor Benn? Obviously, there's Lewis Crock, who's a world champion in-house. He wants a world title fight. What do you think is strategically the right move should be for him next?
But Conor Benn, what would I do if I was
But
Conor
you're
Benn?
saying if he shouldn't come down to welterweight, what should he do next?
Well, then, yeah, if he wants to be strong, then he's got to drop down to maybe light middle, 11 stone, not the welterweight limit, where he's got no chance. But again, even
Darren Ennis, Virgil Ortiz are the names in that division.
yeah, no, I'm not saying he beats those guys. I'm just saying if he wants to continue in the sport of boxing, then he's got to think about fighting at light middleweight, and he ain't going to beat those guys. Do you see what I mean? He's just not. Um, in terms of winning world titles, a bona fide world title out of the four sanctioning governing bodies, I think he falls way short of beating any of the current world champions. So a lot will be whether they can maybe walk him into a vacant title fight, where at least he's got some kind of a chance. If it's for a vacant title, they can match him with and another, somebody you've never heard of before. That will probably be the smart thing to do. But again, like I say, the welterweight division and the light middleweight division, there's a lot of talent there, a lot of good fighters there.
Definitely so. Just a quick word on the undercard. What did you make of Adam Azim, who obviously got the win, and obviously Jack Catterall as well?
Cattle fight was probably harder than what he anticipated. Um, not so sure, not really that sure how much he has left, given that fight was quite hard. And as far as Azim is concerned, he looks like has the potential to become definitely a world champion. He's not a fighter, he's a boxer, he's a thinker. And if you look how he broke that kid down last night, that was a potential banana skin. I mean, that other kid could punch, I promise you. And had his tactics not have been right, had he have gone out and tried to have a fight with him early on, could have been a completely different story. But he had enough smarts about him where he just kept picking away. He held his shape beautifully throughout the whole fight. Hands up, chin down, jabbing beautifully. The body shots were excellent. And like I say, when you've got a short, stocky, diminutive guy in front of you, it's actually quite hard to hit them with clean body shots. You've got to feint, you've got to show them a shot, let them lead off, and then slip your shot in really quickly, which is what he done. His hand speed is very good. His stamina looks very good. He hasn't boxed for several months, but you can tell he stayed in the gym. In between his last fight, I think it was probably like 6, 7, 8 months ago, to where he is now. So you would have thought it might have been just a little bit off key. It might take him a few rounds to settle in, get his timing back, but he was off. He got out of the starting blocks really, really quickly. So, like I say, his timing was good. He might lack a little bit of power at the top level because he's not a devastating puncher, but it was the accumulative effect, the amount of punches he was throwing, which got the job done. Like I say, for me personally, it was the body shots that were the most impressive. He set it up beautifully with jab first, and he switched that shot downstairs. That was very impressive, and he got a really good win. It's a good win.
Do you see him competing in, say, the next year to 18 months with the likes of like Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Romero, all these guys?
100%. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He's got the class to compete with those guys. Definitely within the next 12 months, 12, 18 months maximum, but definitely within the next 12 months. I like boxers. I don't like fighters. Fighters don't really do it for me. Maybe that's why I'm not a fan of Conor Benn. He likes to fight. Nah, he likes to fight. Fighters to me, you can beat those guys. Boxers will give you life and death. Boxers will give you a really hard time. So I like the look of him. I like the way he holds you. When you start out in a fight, obviously your hands up, your chin down, you can hold your shape one thing or another. Then it gets to round 6, round 7, round 8, and you normally lose your composure a little bit, unless you're supremely fit, which he obviously was. And if you look at him from start to finish, just held his shape beautifully from start to finish. And if anything, he upped his game in the last 2 or 3 rounds, where he forced a stoppage.
Yeah, I think Shane McGuigan's done a very good job on him. So hopefully, should be another British superstar at some point. Right, that's it, Duke. I can smell the lamb roast through the stream. I can sense it. It's done. It's on the table.
It's nearly there. Yeah, we just it goes in for about 4 hours. You know, I mean, my wife does a proper slow roast. She does it lovely. So I'm a lucky man.
What's
I'd
that?
probably, if I was fighting today, I'd probably be up to about super middle, I reckon.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
sides you having with it?
Sorry.
What sides you having with it?
Oh, all the trimmings, mate. Roast potatoes, cabbage. I think we've got a bit of broccoli, Yorkshire puddings, the whole shebang, and loads of gravy.
Well, I hope you have a blessed Sunday, and hopefully I'll see you soon.
See you soon, champ. Thanks. God bless. I appreciate you. Have a
Thank
great day.
you.
Respect isn't given, it's earned.